What's good, my brothers and sisters? Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. You already know who it is. Marty representing DU, Direct and Unfiltered. Should have been a long time ago, but it's a long time coming. But we're here now. Before we begin on our topic, I just want to introduce my business partner. All right. Let them know and tell them what you do out here, man.
Hey, what you got? What's good, guys? It's Demba. I'm a little tired. It's the host. I'm not tired enough to stop. You know what I'm saying? Coming back with a constructive dialogue, helping you to get to know the world and more importantly yourself. So got a good episode today. We back in the rhythm of things. So we're gonna start kicking off more videos, more clip videos, more reaction videos. So let us know anything you guys want us to talk about down below.
So the topic today is um somebody will bring the like you don't want to be with someone who brings the worst out of you, right? That's what you said earlier.
All right.
you know um it's a topic that we seem to find ourselves you know being the villain, and we don't know why, right? You don't know why you're the villain. You don't know, maybe because of you had a like experience of being rejected to the world, or rejected from your family or someone that you were close to. It could be a girl, a boyfriend, whatever. All right. So yeah. You want to kick it off with the topic?
Yeah. So in life, right? A lot of times what we do is we'll surround ourselves with the wrong people. We've talked about this before, but one good way to tell if someone is the wrong person, if a group of people are the wrong people, is you need to pay attention to yourself, you know. And I know that sounds a little counterintuitive, because usually we're looking at the behavior of others, but what you want to take in consideration is like other you reflect other people, and people will bring certain things out of you when you're around them, um, depending on whatever things you have in your subconscious. You need to be really careful about your own behavior around others and be really aware of your own behavior around others, because what's going to end up happening is if you're not, you're going to just put yourself in situations where something is it ables my fault. This thing is fucking me up. This fucking headphones is fucking me up. But yeah, you're going to put yourself in situations where you allow something and you give something the power to take you to a place where you don't want to go, you know. Because that's all it is. It's you giving something the power. Um, when you're around people who have negative energy, there's only a couple ways that it can go. You can either just use your energy to fight theirs off the whole time while you're with them, or you can, if you're not strong enough, you can start absorbing their negative energy, and it can sort of bring you down. Um, and usually the worst way to go is you can match their negative energy. You know, so like if someone's being really negative or argumentative or combative with you, and they start like attacking you, what can end up happening, what a lot of people resort to, is they start fighting back and they sort of get wrapped up in it, and one way to tell is if when you're with someone, do you feel like closure after you talk to them, or do you feel like you were sort of ripped apart, you know do you feel like at the end of the conversation that it's like a peaceful sense you get, or do you feel like your nervous system is all worked up, you know really the people you surround yourself with is big. Like I said, we talk about this a lot, but um I think it's important that we give some tools on how to distinguish what kind of people you're surrounding yourself with, and how to distinguish traits in people that are positive or negative and that are going to help you further yourself in life. um you really want to avoid those kind of people who try to rope you into arguments and try to get you wound up into like a negative cycle, of fighting. That's a toxic trait, and that's something that will literally, it will put you into a place where it's like you got to be careful, because it'll start changing the person who you are.
Like for me, I remember when I used to go out parties and clubs. Even going to the strip clubs too. It was like a bunch of group guys that I used to hang out with. Like for me, people never had the influence on me as much though. Like because most of the boys or the group of guys I used to hang out with, they were all like alcoholic and smoke weed, and I was really against it. And I'm always letting them know, always letting my circle know, like, hey, I don't really do all that stuff. I like just to have fun, right? And they all said that you are who you hang out with, right? But for me, I had so much strong mentality to a point where I was able to say no. Even when I was because I started partying clubbing when I was 17. So it was I chose, like, I choose not to do that. But at the same time, though, I saw myself like getting into a lot of fights, which I've never was into that. Like, especially going to the club and then some do stuff, because I'm hanging out with the people, like, when their shoe gets stepped on, they swing, right? And I see myself started doing that, So, and somebody bumped into me. I remember somebody bumped into my cousin. He started swinging, and then somebody bumped into me. I'm like, why am I, reacting to his emotions or anger? So I think sometimes you really want to distance yourself, people like that, because it's not you. That's not who you are, right? And I feel like the groups, like the negativity that the groups has on you, you have that same negativity on yourself, and sometimes you want to distance yourself. And then for me, like, it's kind of hard to talk to them too, because now they're getting angry at you, like, what the, bro, that's just they telling you that's who they are. They're never gonna change. For me, I've had that happen to me. I've seen it. You know I understand it to a point where I was like, I need to leave. Like, you gotta leave an environment where it's not good for you, where it's not gonna not bring you any good fortune or any positivity in your life, or not be able to get you better, to be a better person for yourself, right? I was in a lot of group. Even when I was in high school, I was, you know, you know, I was. I hate to say I was in a gang. I was part of a crew where they trying to recruit me. It was just the craziest thing. And that gang or crew, it was all about, like, to jump kids, jump niggas. You know what I'm saying? It was just, to me, it was stupid. I'm like, I'm not gonna jump people, bro. Like, I was that type of kid. Like, I love everybody, right? I respect everybody. And like, the moment you started disrespecting me, you gotta get swing. But at the same time, I was like, I'm not gonna be in that cool. So I kind of, not kind of, but disengage and remove myself from that crew. To a point where I was getting jumped, and they were jumping me. I was like, what the hell? I told them straight, I'm like, guys, I don't really appreciate your motto. I don't like the whole rules of jumping dudes randomly. I'm like, that's not. I'm like, why would I do that? I don't find there's no fun into it. But having that type of strong mentality for me when I was like going out with these boys, right? It takes a lot. I don't. And to the generation, it's hard. Everybody is so easy to influence nowadays.
Mm.
Everybody's just pretty much a sheep. They're just following whatever social media is telling them, whatever everybody's doing, because you don't want to feel different, outcast, or you don't want to be alone. I think that's the most scariest thing into this society, because I was always a lone wolf, and I love being a lone wolf, you know, and to a point where it made me stronger, make my mind mentally strong. That's the reason why it took me a long time to find. Like, I was never a clicky person, bro. I don't know about you, but I was never in a click group.
Mm.
I'm always separating myself from these groups that had no good intention. Like, I like to stay away from groups that have no good intention, or doing bad things, bullying, all that BS, drinking. Like, don't get me wrong, I saw myself a lot of people like that, but at the same time, I wasn't being active doing what they were doing, because I was alone for such a long time as a kid. Right? I didn't have any friends whatsoever. I didn't go to any my friend's house until I was, like I said, I was 17. That's when I started going out. But at the same time, I was alone for that long. And then I have a friend. I've been here since I was 8, right, from this country. But I didn't have friends till I was like 17, 18. And that's when I was like, I've been alone for a long time. So I'm always saying no. I'm always gonna disagree in a lot of things. Of course, I have brothers and sisters, and grow up by a single mom. But at the same time, but it was just to a point where growing up, I learned how to say no, and it's hard for you guys nowadays to say no, because there's so much influence in the world, in the young. in our young generation, especially in the black community that we always talk about, right? Where it's easy to influence because it's hard for niggas to be alone nowadays because of depression, suicidal thoughts, not having enough friends or having fake friends is not there for you. You know, it's
Mm.
hard, and then that's why you forced to be having that toxic negativity traits for you, and it's the hard part. I don't know if you've been in a situation like when you were young growing up, bro, but you know,
Yeah, I mean, I was not really a clicky person. I was in like the skater kind of group, but even the skater, even within that group, I felt like I just went and hang out with a lot of different people. Um, I never really feel like I fit somewhere, and I think it helped me. It hurt when I was younger because when I was younger, I was like, man, why don't I fit in anywhere? But like as I got older, it made me more of an individual, and it made me feel more comfortable going out in public and not fitting in or being accepted anywhere. Um,
yeah, that was me too.
when I was surrounding myself with those people, it's funny how like you won't even notice it, but your standard will change. Your standard of what you think is right for yourself, your standard for what you want for the world. Like it's crazy because just based off the people you're literally hanging out with. Um, I can remember a couple times where I felt like I got wrapped into the negative energy of other people. With my family, there's a couple things. I won't shout you guys out, but you guys know everyone's family has tried to wrap them into some negative argument or some bullshit
Of
argument.
course.
You know, um, with my friends, it would be more like they would bring out this toxic side of me because they would reward. It felt like they would edify and reward me when I was being more toxic, right? So like if we were going to a club or we were DJing or something, and I was being like real negative, or if I was like putting on the worst music, if I was jumping and like pushing kids and stuff, like just like literally elbowing kids in the dance floor when they're in a DJ booth, like I'm like going because there's kids coming up and they're like, "Hey, bro, can you play this song?" Like, "Hey, bro, play this song," and they won't leave the DJ booth. So I'm like, I gotta kind of scare them to get away. So we start jumping to the music and we start pushing them mad hard and like elbowing them, and they're like, "Bro, stop, stop!" And I was like, and my friends were like, they're like, "Yeah, bro." Like they thought that kind of shit was cool. And I thought it was cool because they were gratifying that behavior in me.
Right.
Um, I'm trying to think of like I think a lot of times when you're in that situation, it's hard to like recognize it and say no in the moment.
Yeah.
You know, because we're not always conscious of our behavior when it's going on.
Because
Um,
they were fueling the fire in you. You know what I'm saying? Like, even though in the moment that I want you, but it's like even I was there myself. I remember, I never feel like I fit anywhere, but I had to act a certain way so can people see me.
mm,
It's like looking for attention, right? Or looking to fit in a type of group or a crew. Like, we weren't clicky, but we were trying to fit somewhere
yeah,
because we were being tired of being alone. We were tired of not having enough friends, or why we were looking at why we look different, why we feel like we were rejected by any group we were trying to talk to or trying to fit into.
you
So
know what's funny? I was trying to fit in somewhere, but I don't even know where I was trying to fit in. You know, that's the funny thing. I feel like most people are in that predicament. Everyone just want to be accepted and fit in, but they don't even know who they want to
yeah,
fit them in with them. And like, if you really ask yourself that question, who am I looking to fit in with? And you really did like an audit of like their character traits, their values, their morals, you'd be like, these some scumbag ass niggas.
yeah.
You'd be like, these niggas are scumbags. Why do I want their acceptance? More times rather than not, it's society. I know we always play that card and shit, but
No, I think you're spot on. I think it's because sometimes we don't know where we want to fit in. As I and we said it earlier because we were so tired of being alone for a long time, or we're tired of like what the hell is going on? Why I got nobody with me? Why I got nobody behind me, bro?
mm,
Like I got no friends, nobody come. So I'm gonna act stupid. I'm gonna act a certain way,
for real.
and that was me when I was young. Like I was trying to join a gang. The moment I went to high school, I was trying to be cool. I was mad serious, man. Even though I dress a little funny though, I got my shirt tucked in the jeans.
You got your shirt tucked in, beating niggas' asses, dude. If I got my ass beat with a nigga with his shirt tucked in, I'll be pissed. I'll be
You
like,
know,
damn,
and,
bro.
and I'm wearing like some nice dress shoes, bro. Going to high school.
Beating niggas' ass with his dress shoes and tucking shirt. Nigga going to church, beating niggas'
Oh
asses.
my god, it was crazy. And then I
Damn.
think one of the gang members like, "Yo, bro, you can't be dressed like that, want us like that, bro. Like, look at the way we dress versus you, bro. Like, you gotta change your outfit." So next day, man, I come out with baggy pants, hang down my pant, my butt, yo. Like, it was just crazy. The shirt was like 3XL, man. It was just insane.
Let me tell you guys a red flag, right? So, one red flag I see when people try to get me caught up is when people have me trying to over explain myself, right? Um, you don't need to explain yourself. You know when you're in the right. In your spirit, you might not have enough conviction and enough evidence throughout your life experiences yet to kind of verify to yourself like you're in the right or you're not tripping. But most people, what they're gonna do is they're gonna like gaslight you and be like, "What do you mean?" And they know exactly what you mean. You know, don't over explain yourself. Don't over. You don't owe anyone an explanation, especially if you're not taking or hurting anybody. You know, you don't have to explain yourself why you don't want to do something. You don't have to explain yourself why you're trying to do a certain, like why you're trying to live a certain way. You don't explaining yourself one thing, and this is a I say this because this is a very common subtle thing because you'll think, oh, it's out of respect. I'm explaining myself why I don't want to do that to someone, why I don't want to live that way. But what they're trying to do is they're trying to get you to kind of think you're crazy for not wanting to engage in the toxic behavior or the toxic trait that they're doing, you know, whatever it is. They're like, oh, why don't you want to go out, bro? You always staying in. It's like, bro, I'm just trying to focus and study and hustle. You know what I'm saying? I'm trying to improve myself. It's like, oh, bro, why don't you want to smoke, bro? Oh, that's crazy. You don't drink and smoke, bro? That's crazy. It's like, nah, bro, I'm just trying to be healthy. It's like, it's crazy that you put smoke in your body and you put alcohol in your body like that. Like, when you start over and explaining yourself, it's another way to get engaged in like the tornado, like chaos that most people are.
I think that's a feminine trait, my opinion, that for a man to overly explain himself.
Mhm.
All you need is, at least 2, 3 words like, "I'm good," "I'm not interested in that anymore," or "It ain't me no more," or like you said, "I'm trying to focus on studying and getting to be successful." I think that's the reason why I can't stand when a man talk too much. For me, when a man talk too much in my ears, I'm feeling like I'm talking to a female at
Mm.
this point, right? And it is one of the toxic. To me, it's one of the toxic and a negative traits. Um, and going back to the topic, like what we were saying, like sometimes, when it comes to, let's talk about relationship, like the person that you're with, right? Let's say you're a dude and you're with a girl who's just talking in your ear so much, and you're talking back and you arguing. I think that's just a waste of time. I think you should definitely, like, let that person go, because at this point it's gonna get worse. The more time you spend with the shorty, right? The more years that comes in, you're gonna see yourself being a different person, and you're seeing yourself like, this is not me. Why am I overly talking so much, overly explaining myself, right?
Mm.
So that's what I, because for me, I've seen so, I mean, I've experienced a lot. I've seen so many things, guys, in my life. Like I said, I've been partying at 17 years old, which is crazy, right? Clubbing, strip clubbing at 17, which is crazy. I don't know why I was doing that, but, and I got a cousin who got me into the whole craziest mess thing, man.
Shout out to you, bro.
But I'll explain that story another time, man. This is a crazy story of when I was 17. But other than that, though, relationship will make a man be toxic, like,
Mm.
especially with the wrong person, right? Especially when you're at the wrong girl or the wrong man, and obviously that also brings into a lot of traumas, right? I think that's why it's. I think you were saying it earlier. I think we're talking about it yesterday. If a girl is not like um mentally uh prepare or have that sense of purity, right, in her life, it's gonna be difficult to even trying to, like, you know
You're
man,
not gonna convert her.
yeah, you're not gonna.
That's one thing for sure.
Yeah, like, it's tough because she's been through so much, and you obviously, as a man, you've been through a lot yourself, right? With girls not doing right by you, or cheating on you, or you know making you a side dude. You don't even know you were a side dude in the first place. But at the same time, though, you gotta understand yourself. Like when you're with a toxic person, you really gotta let them go. Especially if you're seeing yourself getting out of character, right?
Mm,
And I've seen that a lot with me myself when I used to date girls in the past. You know, because I was dating girls from like different race than I am, right? Different culture, things like that. And I've noticed, I see myself, I was acting different. I'm like, why am I yelling at this person, or why am I being so toxic? Because it was so toxic. So I took their character and personality. For some, it got transferred to me. The energy got transferred to me, and I'm starting to behave and act the way they were do it. You know, it was just to a point where I was like, yo, you really gotta stop and think for yourself. Like before you were with that person, how were you? How were you?
mm.
And how are you now with that person? You know.
Right. Is it
So
better?
is it, you know, like
Uh,
like sometimes you really gotta make the matchup. You gotta like compare yourself when I was single versus now I'm in a relationship for about a
mm,
year. How am I doing the same thing I was doing before or after? And then I think sometimes we lose ourselves in that because we stop thinking for ourselves, because we sometimes think, you know, we're so in love, right, with the person. Oh, I could change them. I can make them better. But I'm gonna be honest with you, you should never be able to change a person. They should change themselves for you or for themselves to better themselves, so that hey, you know, this person is nice to me. This person is really good to me. Like, why am I acting and behaving in a certain way, right? Sometimes that's the reason why the whole being out of character or having this toxic trait, sometimes we don't even know why we even have them, because of past traumas, because of past relationship. Some obviously family can bring into that, you know, personality, that character out of you too as well in the past, right? Especially if you, as a man, if you were, you know, raised by a single mom, and as a woman if you were raised by a single mother, right? But sometimes you really have to compare yourself versus you when you were by yourself, single, happy, calm, collected, you know, versus, oh, I'm angry all the time, I'm toxic all the
mm,
time, and I'm over here acting crazy, you know. So I feel like we tend to, um, I think the question is, are you spending time by yourself enough to a point where you start realizing like this person ain't good for me? Because I feel like when we spend so much time with the person that we're with, we tend to lose ourselves. We tend to forget the things that you used to do for you, right?
mm,
Sometimes you really have to like disengage and disconnect with the person that you're with, because you can't be hanging out with a person you're with 24/7, because they're not gonna bring the best of you. Only you gonna bring the best of you. Only you gonna bring the best out of you, man. I'm telling you. And I think for me, like, you know, if I could go back, I would definitely like disconnect myself. Maybe see the person once a week,
mm.
right? Once a week or twice a week. And then the rest of the week, I just focus on me, focus on my work, focus on my study, bro. Getting successful, bro. Getting my business going, you know. And then, you know, we're here to tell you guys that, you know, we've been there, we've experienced that shit, you know. So,
Dude, yeah, no, I think it's the best advice you could give someone. It's really easy to lose yourself in a relationship because when you're arguing with a nigga, right? There's not that same kind of like spiritual energy connection. When you're arguing with a shorty that you're intimate with, there's like this energy connection, you know, and it's real. And like when you're connected to someone's energy like that, they can really like have a pull on you, you know what I'm saying? Until you kind of let that go. And the difficult thing is like shorties are really sharp with their tongue, but also most niggas are not smart with their words either. And they're not wise to stay calm. Uh, I think the best advice you could give someone is take a week or two away from your partner, see how you feel. Do you feel like elevated? Because that's a red flag right there. Do you feel like more happy or at peace? Like that's a red flag right there. Take some time and really evaluate not even just the way you feel, but evaluate like he was saying, all your behaviors, the life that you live now. Were you mad disciplined when you were alone and now you have no discipline at all? Like I was saying, the reason why it's really easy to lose yourself in a relationship is because you have an energy tie with this person. And if this person's not heading in that same direction as you, they can be kind of bringing you this way. You know what I mean? You got to be really careful with that kind of stuff. I'm telling you, um, and what you were saying earlier too about niggas talking too much. Biggest red flag in a relationship is someone who's just trying to talk, 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 talk. Someone who's can't stop talking. A lot of times, the reason for that is because they want to set the narrative. So they have an issue with wanting to control what you believe, and the best way that they think that they can do that is if they just talk so much that they drone out everything else, and they just become the voice in your head. You know what I mean? Um, I'm telling you guys, you probably can even think of some examples of people in your life who are like this. I just recently dealt with someone who's like this. What they'll do is a couple things. Like I was saying, they'll try to get you involved in negativity. They want to engage you in an argument, right? They want to engage you in an argument, and it'll never feel closure from them. You'll never feel like settled after you spoke to them. That's a big red flag for me too. You should one big thing I go off of is the sensation that I get from someone after we've spoken for about 20 to 30 minutes. Do I feel like uneasy and scared, or do I feel like calm and I feel like, wow, that person really heard and understood what I said, you know? And even if we disagreed, I'm not feeling like, oh, I'm not feeling like I have to fight. I'm feeling like, oh, okay, we disagreed on something. We can move forward and each mutually understand each other's points of view. They'll try to engage in an argument, try to get you in negativity, engage you in an argument. They're gonna try to get you into that lower self. You know, they're always gonna be talking, like pointing out, like nitpicking, kind of. They're gonna be like, oh, why do you say that like that? Why you do this? But they're gonna try to get you to be discouraged about your livelihood, your way of being, your habits. These are all traits of someone who's kind of like manipulative a little bit without even knowing it. Um, but the best way, and then to throw on top of everything, they're always going to be talking, you know, because that's like the baseline for all these other things. When you're putting all these negative things on someone, when you're being negative, when you're getting them in arguments, when you're making them doubt the person that they are, you're making them doubt their beliefs by just because some people really in this life, right? They go into the room and literally try to drain the inspiration out of a room. You know what I'm saying? I'm telling you guys, not everyone is built the same out here. Not everyone has goodness in their heart, not truly, and most people do not have a good intention. What you got to take in consideration is some people literally come into the room and they see your light and they're like, all right, how can I sap this person's motivation and inspiration from him? You know, how can I discourage this person away from the life path, the shining life path that I see them on right now? Be careful because these are all traits of someone who's trying to do that. When someone's talking all the time, what they're trying to do is they're trying to get in your head, you know, because they recognize if they can get in your head on like a recording cycle, they'll have some sort of power over you and your actions and decisions, and they hope that they can sway your actions into a favorable direction for them, you know. So something that puts you more in their hand. Um, when people, this is literally like probably the most toxic person I'm describing to you guys right now. Probably this is probably like one of the most toxic. It's funny, the dude, I was literally just dealing with a nigga just like this. I won't shout you out, bro, but you know who he is. And when you see that, it's like it's easy for me to sit here and say it sitting a couple months outside of it, right? Sitting outside of the house. But when you're in that house, when you're in the chaos, when the nigga's trying to argue, when a nigga is intentionally misunderstanding what you're trying to say, intentionally misunderstanding your intent and trying to put words in your mouth, trying to discourage you, it's tough not to want to fight back. And it's tough not to want to engage in that argument. you know it's really tough. It's easy to sit here and say like, hey, don't get involved, don't engage in that, don't do. But when someone's literally throwing dirt on your name, it's hard for you to be like the bigger person in the moment. And the reason I'm saying all this is because what you really need to get to is a point where you're able to recognize whatever toxic behavior or whatever like kind of pull you in kind of energy that you're getting into when you're getting into that argumentative state, and pull yourself back in the moment, because it does you no good if you recognize, oh, that person pulled me into an argument after you got into the argument with them. Oh, that person pulled me back, maybe put me in a negative energy after you got put in that negative energy. You want to catch it before it happens. And you just want to be like, have that stoic masculine response of like, I'm good. Don't over explain yourself. You literally, it's so funny how people will try to get you to over explain yourself. And just even the act of doing that ropes you in a little more to the argument. Because I'm telling you guys, this has to do with a little bit even with like a spiritual aspect, but I won't go into that so deep today. But like, I'm telling you guys, it's because that they're intentionally trying to misunderstand you, because they recognize that your vibration is high, your light is strong, and they want to bring it down. They want to bring it down.
I believe, you know what I believe when this type of people, when, especially when they try to push your buttons, especially when they try to instigate you or gaslight you, right? Because they know how to push the right button when to get you angry and upset. So this type of people that you want to be able to disconnect yourself from. Now I'm the type of person, if somebody is, well, trying to push my button, somebody that I'm close to push my buttons, or know who I am, my character, my personality, my emotion state, right? And then they know how to hit it. That's when it's time for you to disengage and
Mhm.
disconnect yourself from that person. And then also, I realize that we as men do it all the time, especially when we're in La La Land. We love the girl we've been with for a long time, right? Because we lost in the sauce, so we lost in the, you know, I ain't gonna say the word, but
Yeah, lost in the sauce is good. Yeah.
you know what I mean? But sometimes we need to like take a break from that, honestly. And then we need to literally start studying the person that you're with. Literally, like, or even study like the relationship, right?
Mm.
Am I in a toxic relationship? Am I in a relationship that's gonna bring me peace, happiness, right? Obviously, happiness doesn't come within the person that you're with. Happiness comes within yourself, right? And then obviously I'm not gonna talk about the whole spiritual level. It's not what this episode is about, But at the same time, you need to be able to spiritually connect with yourself. Like, is this relationship good for me, right? Because, I'm gonna tell you what, we really don't know what to do as men. Especially when you're lost in the sauce, we forget how to read body language in a female. We literally stop studying the girl, how she move her hands, when she stopped stuttering or when she stopped twitching, and repeating the same words over and over again.
Mm.
This type of person, you really want to disconnect yourself, bro. Like, yo, if you're in a relationship with a toxic person, I don't care if it's your family, I don't care if it's your colleagues, your friends. If you're in a relationship and the person is toxic, it is time to literally walk away from it. Reason why I'm saying that is because, learning from my experience, because I've been through a lot myself, to where I couldn't let this girl go, right? To a point where I'm like, I'm gonna change her. Oh, let me put a ring on it to see if she will change, right? Like, we try to do everything to make somebody happy, but we forget ourselves as men. We forget to, like, hey, mental health is important, right? I think we forget to pretty much, take a mental break from a relationship. I'm not saying to break up with a person, but it's like take 2 weeks off, like he said, and then start studying in yourself. Like, what is it that I'm doing? What is this relationship is doing for me? What is it this person is doing for me? Because when you're in a relationship with a person, they're supposed to uplift you, right? They're supposed to push you, motivate you, speak life into you. But if they're not doing any of those things, I think it's time. I don't care if it's
Mm.
been a year, 2, 3, 5, 10 years. I think it's really time. I don't care if you're married, bro. Like, if it's not working out, I think, like I said, I'm not trying to make this a spiritual. I know some in the Christian society, in the Christian world, it's like, oh, if you guys having a if it's so bad, if the marriage is so bad, you still need to work it out. Yes, you can, but at the same time, if it's getting to a point where you're having suicidal thoughts, you need to end this
Yeah.
marriage. You need to leave it. If you're having depression, you need to leave this marriage, this relationship. I'm telling you, bro, because mental health, as men, we don't tend to do that. You don't take a mental health break. Like, hey, I need to get myself back together. I need to go to the gym. I need to figure out what I gotta do. Sometimes sometimes we tend to not to put that as a priority for ourselves. And then that's the reason why we as men get depression, we as men get suicidal thoughts, we as men have this feminine traits out of nowhere because of a female that's been in your life for years. Sometimes we even start to complain, like, men should never be able to complain so much, right? I'm not saying that that's a female trait, but it's not even a man trait, because all so when God created this man, the first thing he did is put him to work. We're meant to work and be successful, guys. That is our main purpose when we come here. When we were created, when we were born, our main purpose is for us to work, provide, right? Motivate, and also be able to love, right? Love the person that you're with, so that that love can come back. Like, it can be they call it serving each other. But, like, aside from that, I think we don't. I, s- I- the thing that we miss as men, I think the very important thing that we lack on is not taking care of your mental health. Mental health is a real thing. It also could be a dangerous thing if you're not taking care of it,
Mm.
you know and that's the reason why men out nowadays become a villain, right? They become killers, they become rapers, they become, because something had to do with the female or a woman, or says some experience they had to dealt with. But I'm telling you, the number one thing when a man becomes a villain because of a woman, and it's a
Mm.
fact. It's a fact. Reason why men, that's what they is: whippers, killers,
That's so facts.
robbers.
Whether it's a mother, a
Yeah,
girlfriend,
mother, girlfriend,
a
could be
rejection.
a auntie, a grandma, it could be anybody. I'm telling you, a man becomes a villain because of a female, bro.
That's
And
crazy.
and you all don't seem to understand that mental health is, that's the reason why they those guys who are villains, right? Because they literally broke down. They had nobody to uplift them, bring them back to society. They lost it. They're like, you know what? I'm gonna become a killer.
Mm.
I don't know. I'm gonna become a rapist. I know I'm gonna become this. I'm telling you, bro. Like, and that's the reason why it's good to have a positive friend, right? It's good to have a good circle who's gonna be able to, like, hey, let me check on my boy Walker, see how he's doing, because I haven't heard from him for about a week, right? And it's hard nowadays too to even actually have that kind of friendship, because men now it's all competing against each
Yeah,
other,
it's
hitting
all
on each other,
feminine. It's
all
all
feminine,
no,
crazy.
it's literally the most important thing to have a positive friend. And the sad thing about today's day and age is it's so hard to find. And even sadder than that, like we were saying in the beginning of the episode, what we tend to do is we tend to substitute a positive friend. What we tend to substitute loneliness for toxic friends because we can't find a positive friend.
Right.
And I'm telling you guys, no friends is better than bad friends. Good friends beat all and overcome all. But no friends is better than bad friends because bad friends will just discourage you into your goals. I'm telling you, you really need to. As men, I think our mental and our spiritual health is the least talked about. Um, because I think they go hand in hand. Like you were saying, is you gotta ask yourself when you're in a relationship, when you're with not just even with a significant other, but with anyone in your life. Think of it like, I mean, some of you might not be as spiritual as others. Think of it like the spirit realm, right? If you had to say this is like a spiritual kind of godly connection, in what way is this person uplifting your spirit? You know, in what way is this person speaking life into your spirit? How is this person helping you ascend and become a higher version of yourself and a better version of yourself and a greater man, stronger minded? And ask yourself, what kind of life are they speaking into me? Because I'll tell you this, anyone with like doing those 3 4 things I was saying earlier would never speak life into you because that's the absolute opposite of their goal. When you speak life into someone, it's so funny how a few words, just a few meaningful words, can literally change the course of their whole day, of their whole week, of their whole life. Really, you know, just some meaningful words coming from the right place. And when you speak death over someone, when you try to discourage people, it just really ask yourself, because people a lot of times they'll speak death over you and they'll say it was a joke. They'll be like, I'm just kidding, bro. Oh, it's just we're just close, It's like that's not the way I joke, bro. I don't joke by speaking negativity over you. by calling down on your name, by trying to put you in a negative frame of thought. No, that's not how you should joke around. You should the way you should speak to someone is the way that you want them to be. The like the You should speak to them as if you want them to become the closest they can become to God.
Right.
And our spiritual health as men and our mental health gets kind of looked over so much, I think, because we don't address it ourselves. When we're in a relationship with a girl, like, we're not thinking about like the spiritual aspect of our relationship. you know we sort of just get lost in the sauce, and it's so easy when you get lost in the sauce to be like, completely forget your God, completely forget your livelihood, completely forget your goals. And I will say this: it makes sense in the very beginning stages of a relationship, because it's also new. You're still figuring the person out. But what you said is crazy, though. What you said is crazy. Because I think it's even more than just relationships. When you get around a toxic person for long enough, you literally, it's like you turn a blind eye to all their body language and their toxic traits. That's crazy.
Yeah.
Why do you think that is, though?
So there was I think of my wife sent me a video. He went on a date with two girls, I think, and I'm just paraphrasing the video I was watching a few weeks ago. So he went on a date with those two girls, right? Two girls, and then he pretty much on the date it was going well, things like that. And next thing you know, right, he couldn't find his wallet, and then he asked those two girls, because somehow he doesn't end up paying the bills, but he was looking for his wallet. And then he asked one of those girls, "You guys got my wallet? I need my wallet." And both of them say no. He's like, "Oh, okay, but I know one of you got my wallet. Like, I need my wallet." Next thing you know, bro, this dude killed both of them, strangled both of them,
What?
literally, because he lost the wallet, right? So what I'm trying to get at is that I think sometimes we as men, we don't really, we can't. I think the problem with men nowadays is we don't really see us. We don't really try to be calm and collected. We're not. We can't discipline. I feel like we don't know how to discipline ourselves to a point where everything anger us. Everything we so easily anger.
Mm.
We so easily have this transgression against females, or because bro, like, take a deep breath, calm down. And the next thing you know, he got a call after he killed them. His mom's like, "Hey, you left your wallet at home."
Is that a true story?
Yeah,
That's so crazy.
yeah, it's crazy. Like, bro, and I feel like the most dangerous man, he's not a quiet man, is a man who can't control himself. He
Mm.
can't control his emotions. That's the most dangerous man. I feel like, um, sometimes I think that's what leads to like post traumas and like in past relationship that you've been hurt or whatever the case is. But I feel like if you have these aggressions, I know you asked me a question. I'll answer that question later. But I think with men, we just don't know how to control our emotions. We don't have the emotional intelligence yet. I think it's because there's so much going on in our lives, especially with the whole society and then the whole trends of like females, right? Equality and men becoming feminine, all that stuff, and then we can't even trust other men, right? I think that's a main reason because we seem to like have nobody, and that's making a man nowadays to become either feminine or have aggressions against whatever it is that he's angry about, right? And I think for me, that's the reason why it's hard for me to connect with other. I hate to say it like this, and I was talking to I think to one of a lady yesterday who just came from Haiti, and she was telling me like it's hard. She said she's from Haiti. She coming from Haiti, and she told me that it's hard for her to connect with other Haitian people, right? It's because they so fake. Um
Mm.
they don't want to talk to her because she doesn't speak English. I was like, and it's so true because I've noticed that a lot of Haitians, like I'm Haitian too, if you all didn't know, and I can't connect with my own kind, to be honest, because they are fake. They are greedy, they are selfish, There's a lot of jealousy in our community, especially in the Haitian community. And the main problem with us is that we can't work together. That's the main problem. We just can't work together as a unit. That's the reason why if you see a lot of videos and all those videos that you've seen, it's true. Niggas jumping niggas, or I could say black man and jumping other black man because, because he got nice Air Forces on, right? I'm gonna jump because he got nice shoes on. If you walk in the hood with a Gucci belt and a nice suit, they're gonna jump you and take your suit and your Gucci belt, right? You can't have anything nice around black people. If you're a black person, a black man who's successful, you can't be have nothing nice on you because they're gonna jump you, they're gonna kill you for it. And I think that's the main problem with our society. With the problem, was there a question you asked earlier? I totally forgot.
No, I was just gonna say like why is it we turn such a blind eye to the body language and the toxic red flags of people?
Oh yeah, we both said it earlier. We're lost in the sauce. We're so focusing on lust. I
Mm,
think that's the main issue with, especially black men. I don't want to talk to the black men out here.
mm.
I when we're f- we're focusing on lust and sex so much that we totally lose our focus. We totally lose ourselves. Not only even we lose ourselves, but we totally don't even know how to read anymore. We don't even know how to read.
Imagine if that was like imagine, right? Like if you got into like a certain sort of academic endeavor, right? Like so let's say English, and you got so lost just reading one book that you forgot how to read, like just in general. You got so lost in learning how to like understand one thing
Right.
that you literally forgot how to read everything.
Like, no, I'm gonna tell you this. I've been through it myself. The reason why I can go on and talk about it is because I've been through it. There was a point in my life where I was addicted to sex, right? I was just so lost in the sauce. Like, I'm like, I gotta get it 3 or 4 times a day, at least 7 to 8 times a week, right? It was just to a point I was like, this is going too much. This is a lot. To a point where like it was affecting my mind. I was tripping on the words when I would go to work. I couldn't even do the work because I'm thinking about like being intimate, not even intimate, having sex or messing with somebody, a female, right? But at the same time, I noticed that I was not only losing focus, but I was losing how to read, bro. Literally, like I was reading. I remember I was reading a book. I was having trouble because I'm studying on the words. I'm studying how to pronounce the certain words, but I'm like, I'm really good at pronouncing big words. I'm like, my vocab, I can pronounce any words you give me. I will pronounce them correct. I was losing it, bro. And it's affecting us nowadays because because now men nowadays they don't want to connect no more. All they want to do is fuck a shorty, go on the next one, do the same thing over
Mm.
and over and over again. And that's the reason why you see a lot of broke niggas nowadays, right? Who act like they got money, flaunting their shoes. If I see any dude in social media showing they got like 100 shoes, right, 100 Gucci belt, I'm like, dude, you broke, bro. That's all you spend your money on. You're not building a business. You're not building a brand for yourself, right? And I think that's the problem with men. It's just that reason why we're um don't know how to read toxicity and red flags is because we're so focusing on sex
Mm.
so much, uh, trying to get on. Like, bro, focus on your success. Focus on branding yourself. Focus on making a living or fucking trying to make money, bro. You know what I'm saying? There's so many dudes out here who's lazy, who procrastinating, who is broke. Not even I don't know any dudes out there who are the hardest worker than us, bro. Like we will work our hardest.
Yeah, I don't really meet that many dudes with a good work ethic
Dude,
anymore.
I don't, bro.
I
Like,
don't meet that many
dude,
guys who are like, you know what?
look,
I could like most dudes won't look at a day and be like, damn, how much did I make in an hour? If I work like 10 hours, 15 hours today, I can make how much? Like they're like, how many hours do I have to work?
bro. I
You
know,
know?
I know a dude. I'm not showing him out. I know a dude who only work 4 hours, bro. 4 hours Monday through Friday, and then won't, and he will call out every week for 2 or 3 days, bro.
bro. Nah.
Like, bro, like, and the thing is, he working from 4 to 9, bro. And then so you're
You was
4
gonna
p.m. to
wake up.
9. So you have a whole morning, right? So you have a 16 hours because there's 24 hours in a day, right? So you saying that you have 20 hours in your day sleeping, eating, doing nothing, and then you're gonna wait till 4 o'clock to go to work? How does that make sense? But where is your work ethic, bro? Like we're doing our best to try away from spiritual because because that's the main, that's what we're trying to change our podcast. But in the Bible, a man without works, right, don't get to eat, right? Don't get to do not, a man who don't work, bro, you're not gonna you're not gonna be able to eat.
Nah, I'm pretty sure the most important things in life is literally to have enjoy the food and water that you drink, to find a work that you can enjoy in some way and to do it like diligently. You know what I'm saying? And then enjoy the time you have with your wife. You know what I'm saying? Like those are the most important things. You shouldn't anything else is just a little bit it's unfulfilling,
It
and it's
is.
a chase that will always bring you to like a dead end, because you'll get to the end of the chase and you'll be like, damn, I got all this money, damn, I fucked all these bitches, but now I'm spiritually dead because what I had to do to get these things.
That's
And
why I hate to say it, I could be wrong, but this is my opinion. I think this might be the reason why these females have OnlyFans, because there's not enough hard worker men out there.
you think so?
That's just my
That's a
opinion.
great, I think that that's a good take. I think that
That's
that's
just
a good
my
take.
this is
There's
my own opinion, bro. It just got it's just a technical difficulty we were having. All right,
hold on, let me turn
just a
this
little
on.
bit of technical difficulty.
All right, what was I saying before niggas got cut off? um
So I was saying reason why women have OnlyFans because there's not
oh,
enough work,
right.
men workers.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I feel like if women at a younger age ran into like a real man, they wouldn't get tossed around and abused at that, and because really the end product of feminine men, of irresponsible men who have no work ethic, is a bunch of promiscuous women on OnlyFans. That's basically what it is. It's not just these girls are like hoes or like bad women, or they're just bad to start off with. They're pure to start off with, but they mess with a bunch of fuck niggas who have bad intentions for them, you know.
Yeah,
And I think it's funny. I never thought about it like that. I think it might be the case that if there were more like solid dudes, if there were more dudes who, like, when their girls start arguing with them, they were like, I'm not gonna talk about this. Like, you can't get me to engage like that with you.
yeah.
Like, I think more women will just be like, damn, he's solid. Like, that's my dude.
So,
That's my man.
so here's a girl I talked to, right, and she was like, I just can't find any dudes. I can't find any men. I think I'm just gonna find a random dude and then have a kid and then live my life. You know what I'm saying? It made me think because these dudes, they don't want to do anything. They don't want to take care of a woman. They don't want to be able to provide anymore, right? These dudes are literally acting like a female, right? They literally acting like a woman. So it's kind of hard nowadays. Um, even dudes nowadays are just like in the DL about like, oh, I like niggas with hair nowadays with wigs, right? So it's crazy out here.
Where you niggas? Oh my god, niggas are a little fruity nowadays, though. Niggas are a little fruity nowadays. Niggas, I don't know what happened, but I think the spirit, because I can talk about for days all the chemical byproducts in our environment, microplastics, phthalates, all this stuff, xenoestrogens that may be effeminizing men. But truly, I think the most important thing to highlight first is that there's been like a spiritual attack on like the masculine energy of the world. And sort of just to end the episode off, like, I know it's not the most spiritual episode, but I do want to bring it back there because that's what this podcast is about. It's like the spiritual energy of men has been attacked for a while because they recognize that's the cornerstone of the family, and they recognize that without that, women are going to fall easy. Women are pretty easy to manipulate. Men are not as easy to manipulate. But if you can manipulate the minds of men and you can weaken their spirits with shit like lust and sloth, two terrible sins right there, bro. So laziness and like over promiscuity. If you can weaken a man's spirit with those two things, that's not a man anymore.
Nah.
That's just a vessel that you can weaponize against his own people. That's not someone who will protect his sons and daughters. Like that's someone who will literally work against his own community
Right.
for the devil.
And then just so you all know, we are bringing it back to the spiritual world, to the biblical world, I should say. Is laziness is a sin, yo. It's one of the sin, laziness, right? So if you're so lazy, you don't want to work. I don't understand the 4 hour work. For me, I'm always confused. Like I said, I know a dude who's doing that right now. He's just not. He comes home and sleeps all day. Barely wakes up. He's gonna have to wake up like, hey, it's time for work. Get up. Let's go to work. Like knocking. I'm like, what? Doesn't make any sense to me. Like for me, I'm like again, like we're about to go and close, guys, but you don't want to be lazy. You do want to have a work ethic because other than that, your girls are gonna have OnlyFans. You don't even know because you don't because you don't know because you're not doing your job, bro. You're not
Yeah.
working.
You
You don't have
can't
a work
expect your
ethic.
girl to do her job if you're not doing your job,
Yeah,
bro.
bro. Like if your girl says you can't take care of me, you're making like 20 grand. I don't know how much is like 4 hour in a day.
Four,
Four
if you
times
make,
five is 20 hours in a week,
how much you make in an hour
and then
though?
you're making like $21 an hour.
So like, let's say 20. So 20 times 20 is 400. That's $400 a week, maybe like $420 a week.
Yeah, your girl is doing OnlyFans, bro. That's all I'm saying, man.
Yeah, and if
All
she's
right.
not on the camera, she's off the camera doing
And
OnlyFans.
then if she's exactly, and you might not even be her man. You just a side dude.
That's yeah.
It's
No,
just
you
that
can't. You
part.
can't expect to be a main nigga if you live in the life of a side nigga, though. You know what I'm saying? You can't. You know what I'm saying? Like you live in the life of a side nigga. You working 4 hours a day,
Damn, bro.
living the life of a side nigga. Like not if you were the 4 hour work week. The last thing I'll say is like last two things I'll say. If you want to work 4 hours a day or a week or whatever, um, I get it, but make that other 36, 46, 56 hours, make that shit count, bro. Make that shit go towards something that's enlightening you, uplifting you, liberating you financially. Like most people are like, "Oh, life's not meant to be worked. My time is so valuable." And then they work for like a little time and then they just fuck off their time. Like they just do nothing and they watch like dumbass videos. They're doing this shit. They're going to do some dumb. They're going to the club. Like if you're gonna say that your time is valuable, then don't come off like a hypocrite, wasting your time doing meaningless
Yeah,
things that aren't serving God, bro. Like whatever God you believe, you got to take in consideration. Like all these things we're talking about today have a spiritual aspect to them. The people who are in that stage of their journey will be able to recognize that. Um, but just for the people who aren't, just understand you need to get yourself right spiritually and
yeah,
ask yourself, where am I right now in my journey? Where am I in my spirit? Because you're gonna end up finding some mad toxic people in this world. you- I don't know where you're living if you're not running into toxic people on a daily basis, right? You're gonna be running into mad toxic people, mad narcissistic people, mad gaslighting people who's gonna try to pull you into this negativity. And if you're not equipped spiritually to deal with it, it's going to be tough to disengage when you're in that argument. It's going to be tough to pull yourself back, you know? It's going to be tough to catch yourself and catch your own actions, your own toxic traits, because we all have them. Catch your own toxic traits and nip them in the bud. Because even though we all have them, we can all get rid of them too. We just have to make that choice and we just have to spiritually go in that direction. You know what I'm saying? But that's, I mean, I don't know. You trying to say anything else?
just want to say, guys, thank you for coming. Yo, appreciate the loving, appreciate the everything that you guys are doing, listening, tuning in, and listening to our podcast. Yo, direct and unfiltered. Yo, if you haven't hit the subscribe button, just hit it. If you love the video, you like what you see, you like what you heard, give us a thumbs up, man. We appreciate the love, and we'll definitely deliver and give the love back to you guys. If you have any questions, yo, and we're here for you guys. Talk to you, man. That's what we do. We'll give you some insight, advice on life, and pretty much how to be a better man for yourself. Or even if you're young, graduating high school, we're here for you guys. All right, take care. Peace out, yo.